Yo, what's going on guys? Rhys here, and in this video I'm going to show you how to set up a little cloud server for the Nunet Alpha, the Private Alpha. And if you don't know what that is, don't worry about it. If you're here to find out, then all you need to do is set up a little cloud server and I'll take you through the rest. Okay, so let me hit record on there because otherwise you're not going to be able to see. Pull up my screen. First thing we need to do is set up a little cloud server. So I'm going to use DigitalOcean because that's what I used for the other one that I set up earlier. And I'm going to go just up in the top here and droplets. I'm going to create a new Ubuntu server. So it's here 2004 basic. And what we need is we need a minimum of 4 gigs of RAM. So this 4 gig option here is $24 a month because it's an AMD one. So I'm just going to use that. I'm in the UK, so I'm going to click London, and I'm not going to worry about any of that. I'm going to create a password, and the password is going to be 1Steve123A. All right, pick a better password than that, guys. 1Steve123A. Cool. Okay, and then one droplet, and I'm going to call it Nunet Demo. Nunet Demo. And I'm going to go boom, 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 boom. I'm going to enable backup. Normally enable backups. I'm not going to enable a backup because I'm just going to create this as an example and then I'm going to destroy it afterwards. So create droplet. Now, no thanks. While that's creating itself, I'm going to take us somewhere else. So we have a whole list of things that we're going to work through today. So, excuse me. So what we need to do is we need to set up our server, we need to set up SSH access, and we need to give our user admin privileges. Okay, that sounds super complicated, but I'm going to assume that you have never used Linux. I'm going to walk you through every single thing that you need to type into the command line, and we're going to do it together. Okay, so you can set up, I use DigitalOcean because I literally had a free credit from someone else. So when you normally create a DigitalOcean account, I think you get like $100 free credit. So with that in mind, you'd have like 4 months-ish of this instance running. Or if you went for just the regular instead of the AMD one, then you'd have 5 months because I think it's $20 instead of 24. Okay. First thing I'm going to do is up here. You can see it's made my thing Nunet Demo. I'm going to copy that IP. That's the IP address, which is basically the Internet Protocol address. I think it's Internet Protocol. And I'm going to go all the way down here. And I'm going to go boom, 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 boom. Let's edit this and delete that because that is the wrong one. So I've just taken a note of that IP address because we're going to need it, and I've taken a note of that password because we're going to need that as well. Okay, now let's get back up here. So the specifications are 4 gigs of RAM and 10 gigs of SSD. We have 80 gigs or something like that. So we've got absolutely loads. All right, now you can leave DigitalOcean for now, and we're going to pull up, I'm going to assume you're using Windows, and we're going to pull up Powershell. Powershell is the Windows command line interface, and if you're on Mac, then you can use Terminal, which is exactly the same, just for Mac. Okay, so we're going to open it up, and it's going to have your computer user. I'm just going to zoom in a bunch here so you can hopefully see that all right. So So it's going to have your normal user thing for here, and we're going to go here and we're going to SSH, and then we're going to go root at, and then we're going to control V our IP address, enter, and then we're going to go yes. We need to type yes, and we're going to enter the password, which was terrible. It was 1Steve123A. Welcome to Ubuntu. So now we're in our cloud server on Windows, on our local computer, but we're connecting through this PowerShell to our cloud server. So it's got here, the first thing we do is we do all our updates. So it's got 117 updates, and 62 of these are security updates. So what we're going to do is we're going to go apt update. Oh, that's SPT. We want apt. And it's going to do its thing for a second. You're going to watch loads of stuff, and then it's going to go. Then we're going to go apt upgrade. Okay, so once anything's done, it's basically you'll see the root Nunet Demo. This just means it's waiting for the next command, like it's finished processing the other command, so it's ready for a new command. If you just start typing stuff in, then it won't work, okay? Unless it holds that, and then it'll show, you'll see it show by here. So you see that, apt upgrade, and then you press enter, and it's going to ask if we want to run this upgrade. Ooh, did that work? There we go. Oh, tripping. And you're going to say, do you want to continue? Yes, because we do want to continue, obviously, and then it's going to do its thing for a second. That might take a while. So this is the initial setup of Ubuntu in our cloud server, okay? What we're going to have to do next. So we're going to have to install unattended upgrades. Then we're going to have to basically remove root access, because you don't want anyone to just be able to hack into your server by testing out the root, which is basically the initial user that's created on the server. So we're going to create a new user. We're going to give that user admin privileges, because otherwise only root has them, and you need it to be able to install stuff and things. And then we're going to change the login. So instead of having a password to log in, you can have SSH, which is basically much more secure. Don't worry, I'm going to walk you through all of those things. And we're going to keep local version currently installed. Just, yeah, cool, that'll do. Oh, I'm in the wrong window. Enter. And yeah, so that's basically what we're going to do first, okay? Then we're going to install the firewall, because it's really important to protect, like, basic security standards for your cloud servers, really important. And realistically, you should do this even if you're running a VM, because you don't want to leave an IP exposed where someone can just search through the thing and just like and just hack into your thing. That's not good times. So, just a heads up, those who don't know, Nunet's decentralized cloud computing for AI. So basically it's a project built off the back of SingularityNet, which is a great project. You should check it out. And we're going to set up the alpha for this. So there's a private alpha that's running currently. It started like a day ago, and people are having trouble actually connecting up. So that's what this video is for, is to help people. We're also going to set this up, this private alpha, and then we're going to set up monitoring, so you can see, make sure that it's working, check, and basically see it doing its thing in the cloud. And to do that, there's going to be a couple of links in the description below. We're going to need to be able to get onto Nunet's GitLab, which is gitlab.com/Nunet, and this is the actual page we need to go to, Nunet/Nunet-infra. The link's going to be below, //tree/master/device_onboarding. You don't need to remember that. And what else are we going to need? We're going to install Docker once we've finished setting up the server, and that's ready. And then we basically just run the install scripts off here and fill out the config, which is the configuration file, and then we're done. Super easy. Okay, and this should be done. Cool. Right, so we're here. I've got all the things we've got to do here. So let's do unattended upgrades. apt install unattended upgrades. Unattended upgrades. And then we need to configure it to update by itself. So we go dpkg-reconfigure. And then we do space double hyphen. Priority equals low. So we want low priority. If it's busy doing other things, it won't update. And then unattended upgrades. Done. Do you want to do it? Only stable upgrades? Yes. Cool. That's what we need. Right, and then we're going to go add user. So next, add user and remove root access. I'm just going to scroll down because you might not see what's going on here. So we're going to go add user. And we're going to call it, we've got Steve as our password. I'm just going to go with Steve. I don't know a Steve, by the way, guys. We just kind of went with it. New password. No password supplied. Oh, we need to do it. Steve123A. Guys, remember, do better passwords than this. Like, you know. And don't write them down, or write them down in hard copy, but not digitally, just in case, you know, things get hacked. Enter, 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 enter. Is this information correct? It certainly is. Okay, so now we want to basically give our Steve user admin privileges. So for that we go user mod, and then we go -a capital G, which is add group, and then we add him to the sudo group, or sudo, and then we name of the account, which is Steve. Steve, who we've just created. Enter. And cool. So now we're going to log out, and we're going to test that we can log in as Steve. So once we've logged out, it'll just show C users and then your user on your local machine. So for me, it's Morgan, and I'm just going to press up, and it's going to show SSH root and then the IP. So what it does, it remembers the history of commands that you've typed in. So that's just a sneaky little way through, and then we're going to go Steve, because we're logging in as Steve now, and bam, Steve's password, Steve123A, terrible, oh my god. Oops, I must have typed it wrong. Steve123A. There we go. So now we've logged in as Steve. And you can see here, if I just scroll up, Steve at Nunet Demo, which is our cloud server. Cool, so now we need to remove password and create an SSH key. So what we do is we go in Steve, we go mkdir, which is make directory, then we do a squiggly line /.ssh, and then we go and double and chmod squiggly line /.ssh. SSH. Oh, I need to chmod 700. What am I doing? Tired, guys. Double H. Cool. So, sorry, it's just scrolled down there, but you see, that's what I've typed in. And I'm going to have a link to, or I'm going to have all these commands in the description, alright, guys? So you can literally just copy and paste everything. And then we go, enter. Cool, so now we've got this directory, and we've added that modifier to it. So what we need to do now is we need to create the SSH key. Let's go here, bam, bam, bam. So this is where we are. So I need to log out. And now we're back in our user, and we go SSH keygen, which generates a key B, and then the size of it, which is going to be 4D96. Okay, and then this is basically going to save and create, as it says here, generate a public and private RSA key pair, which is an SSH key. I don't want to save it. Normally, if you haven't done this before, it'll give you the option to save it in -.ssh -id _RSA. I'm going to save it as something else. I'm going to save it as Nunet Demo, and I'm going to capitalize it just for fun. So I'm going to save it as Nunet Demo. Enter. Create passphrase. I'm just going to give it the same passphrase. I'm not going to give it any passphrase. I'm not going to give it a passphrase, guys. Okay, so here we go, Nunet Demo. So we've got two keys now. We've got a Nunet Demo and we've got a Nunet Demo.pub. That's the public key, and the Nunet Demo is our private key. So this is some cool random art that it makes. And what we're going to do is we're going to upload the public key to our cloud server. So I'm going to go in my window, and I'm just going to go to my user account, wherever that is. This PC here, users, Moga. I don't know why it's called Moga, but it is Nunet Demo, shift, and I'm just going to drag that into my SSH key. I should have saved it into the .ssh folder, but I didn't. So now it's in there, and we go in there, and there it is, those two. Okay, cool. So now I'm just going to close that. Right, so we've generated our SSH keys, and now we're going to upload them to the cloud server. So we need to go SCP, and then we need to go $env, and then we go colon, and then this is all caps. We go user profile. There we go, and then we do -.ssh -nunet demo.pub, and then we're uploading that to Steve at, what was the scroll down here for our Steve at 165.227.238.48, and then we're going to put that in colon squiggly line -.ssh. The squiggly line just means that user root directory, like the home folder, essentially, like the user folder, .ssh / or authorized underscore keys, authorized with a Z. Steve's password 1 Steve123A. Please pick a better password. And look, you just see Nunet demo pub, and then it has the upload. It's been done, and now we're back in our folder. So now what we need to do is we need to test that we can log in through that SSH key. So the way we do that, I'm going to go all the way back up here. The way we do that is we basically go SSH-I, and then we go the place where the Nunet was, so /.ssh/Nunet demo, and we're going to Steve at, what was it, 165.227.238.48. And there we go, we've logged into Steve. And we've logged in with the SSH key, not any other key. Okay, and what we need to do now is we need to basically stop you from logging in any other way, so we can only log in through the SSH key. And I know this seems like a very long way to go around setting up this Nunet thing, but basic security practices for cloud computing is really important, and it's actually important for if you make it on your home computer, like if you're doing a VM or something like that. So we're going to go sudo nano, and then we go -etc -ssh-sshd underscore config, which is basically the config file, and then we go 1 Steve123A. Should have picked an easier password for the sake of this demo. Okay, what we're going to do is we're going to change the port, because it's always port 22, so we're going to change it to 203. I mean, why not, right? And we're going to scroll down, permit root login. We're going to stop anyone from logging in as root, so no one can just try and hack your server with a root login. And password authentication, we're going to authenticate it with an SSH, so we're just going to change that to no. And then we control X to get out of this file. Save modified buffer, we want to, yes, obviously we want to save as the same file. And so now we need to, before we do anything, we need to reset. So we go sudo, I'm going to scroll up so you can see what's going on. Sudo space system control. We're going to restart SSHD. So now we've made a change, we need to restart and reboot that. Cool. Now before we log out of this, we need to make sure that actually works. So we're going to open a different PowerShell, like a different instance, and we're going to stay logged in on this server. That's really important. And then we're going to go, I'm going to zoom in. So we're going to go SSH-I squiggly line at .ssh.nunet demo, and then we're going to go to Steve at what was it? It was 165.227.238.48. Bam. Is it going to work? I hope it works. Unless I've typed something in wrong. So it hasn't worked. And there's a reason it hasn't worked. That's because we didn't specify the port. So it's not because the SSH isn't working, it's because we changed the port number, so it's not the default, so it's not easy for anyone to try and hack. As you can see, look, connection port 22 was lost. So I'm going to press up on the arrow, so it loads the last command I put in, and then I'm going to go space -p, and then I'm going to go 203, which was the port we specified in the config file. Enter. And we're in. Cool. So I'm not going to worry about that because this one's already set up. I'm just going to close. We're in Steve Nunet demo. We know that the SSH key works. So now we can fiddle with the rest of it. So what we're going to do is we're going all the way down here. Right. So next we need to set up the firewall. So we're going to go sudo. We're going to apt. We're going to install UFW, which is uncomplicated firewall, which is just a free firewall that you set. And then we're going to go sudo status UFW. Sudo command not found. We're going to go, that's because I'm pressing the wrong thing. Sudo UFW status, typed it the wrong way around. Status inactive, so we need to turn it on. But first, we need to make sure that we're allowing certain things. So we need to allow port 203, which is our SSH port. So we're going to go sudo UFW, so we're controlling UFW, we're going to go allow, and we're going to go 203, enter, rule updated. So now we have that, and then we can go, sudo UFW enable. Doing this might disrupt the SSH connection. Do you want to? Yes. Firewall's active. Sudo ufw status. Active, 203 is allowed in. Perfect. Right. Right. Sorry about that. I had to change the battery in my camera. So we're here. So I'm just going to scroll up. We're in Steve at Nunet Demo. We're in our cloud server. We've got our firewall set up. We've got SSH. We've done everything as best practice for setting up our cloud server. So now we can do the fun stuff. Now the first thing we need to do is we need to install Docker. So I've got a link which I'm going to put in the description, a link to the Docker instructions that I used. But we're basically just I'm going to highlight this. Control C. It's basically apt-get install Docker with, it's going to make sure that we're getting the right one. So I'm going to Control V and enter, reading blah blah blah. Then I'm going to curl the Docker. It's just too complicated to type out every time. This is going to get the official GPG key. Very exciting. And then I'm going to get the stable repository. So I'm just going to paste that here. And then we're going to highlight the last bit, install. So we're going to sudo apt-get update, and then we're going to install the Docker. So we're going to install docker-ce, and then we're going to install docker CE CLI, which is the command line interface, and the container. Bam, enter. Do we want to continue? Yes, we do, of course. Now we're going to scroll. I'm going to scroll up while this does its thing. And this is basically installing Docker. And what Docker is it's like an isolated virtual machine in the cloud server. There's very, very fancy stuff. Don't need to worry about it too much, but you need Docker installed to be able to do this. Okay? And so Docker's done. Now that Docker's installed, we don't really have to do anything with Docker. We just need to actually set up the server, the Nunet bits. That's what it's called. So we're going to go here. We need to go into this GitLab repository. So gitlab.com/Nunet. Again, the description is going to be below. Then we go into Nunet Infra and then the repository. And in here it says this is the spec. Then we need to download this script. So I'm going to go wget gitlab. I'm going to copy that. Can I copy that? Cool. And then I'm just going to click straight into my command line. I'm going to go sudo command V. Oh, that didn't work. Bam, there we go. So that's just downloaded the script that we need to run the Nunet onboarding. And then we're going to run the script. So to run the script, actually I've written it down here so it's a lot easier to see. We've got that, then we run the script, bash Nunet onboarding sh setup. So I'm just going to copy that. And I'm going to go sudo copy cloning Nunet infra. All right, now it's going to give us the Nunet infrastructure. This is going to run the script, it's going to do the install of everything that we need on there to set up Nunet, the Nunet Alpha. So while that's happening, guys, I know this is a long video, all right, but hopefully you've learned enough to set up your own cloud server now and do basic security like best practices, which is very, very important if you're doing a virtual machine that's exposed to the internet or the outside world. And the same for if it's not on a private network. And the same for if you're doing cloud servers. Obviously, it's very important that we do that. And so this is just setting itself up. Boom, 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 boom. You can do this manually as well, which I have these instructions here, which are also in their GitLab, which is to just clone the repository and then enter into the right folder, then do the bash onboarding install, and then manually enter the config. But this should just do it itself once we get there. And this is the point that you get to for what's his face? I've forgotten the guy's name. You know, the Nunet guy, when he did the demo the other day, this is the bit that he kind of shows you, this next bit. Or he did it and then he copied the screen and put it in his slide. So this might make a bit more sense to you guys when you start to see it. You might recognize some of these things. Okay, so your system has 3,936 megabytes of RAM. How much are you willing to allocate? I'm going to allocate all of it. So 3, 9, 3, 6. Enter. Your system has 0 megahertz. How much are you willing to allocate to Nunet? That doesn't sound right. I'm going to add, what was the minimum? What was the minimum it wanted? 2,000. I'd write 2,000. Enter. which network do you want to join? Nunet Private Alpha or Nunet Development? Guys, this is important. Do Nunet Private Alpha, okay, because that's what we're doing here. So Nunet Private Alpha. And then it's going to install the right things and run the right scripts, okay? Nunet Private Alpha, enter. Do you have an existing address? No, you don't, because this is a private network. Enter. It's going to give you a private key and an address. So I'm just going to take them. I'm going to Control C, sorry, because I'm not on a Mac. And then I'm going to scroll to the bottom of my destructions. And I'm going to paste them in there so I have a record of it, okay? Do you want to see the resulting configuration? Yeah, of course we do. Why not? Okay, and you can copy this if you want. We don't really need to, but it says available. We've got the RAM, external IP, external port, Nunet demo, blah 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 blah. All this very interesting information. This is going to be the settings, your basic configuration for your metadata for the node, basically. Cool. So that's all done, finished. That's the setup. Now, you don't really know just by looking at it now that it's working. You can assume that it's working because you've done all the steps, but you don't really know. So what you want to do is be able to monitor it from the outside world. Right, guys, so what we need to do is allow port 46 or 4646 now so that we can access monitor our node through the Nomad client. So in order to do that, we need to go sudo ufw, which is our firewall, and then we need to allow, and we need to go 4646, bam, rule added. So now that port's now allows traffic through, so it's another gap in our firewall. So we've got port 203, which is our SSH in, which is how we're going to access or whatever you chose for your port. It can literally be anything you want. Pick a reasonably high number, and then 4646 is going to be allowed for Nomad. So now we've got that. We're just going to minimize this, and what we need in our destructions all the way down here, monitoring. So now we've got stuff set up. We need to go into our browser and we press new tab, and I'm just going to zoom right in here. Oh no, you can't see. I'm going to zoom out, and what we need to type in is basically, where's my destructions? We need to type in here, it says HTTP 0.0.0.0. We're going to replace that with our IP address for our cloud server, and then 4646. So for me, that's HTTP, and it is not the staking portal, 165.227.238.48. Yeah, and then we're going to go colon, because that specifies a port, 4646. Press enter, and it's going to take us to this Nomad client. I'm going to zoom in so you can see. So what we have is Nunet demo. Nunet demo is our server. So you can see here, Nunet adapter, Nunet demo running. So that means it's functioning correctly. And this is one particular client that's running. If I go to clients here, it should pull up Nunet demo, and there should be more. There should be more here, but there isn't for some reason. It's just running the one instance. And it might be because it's booting up the other one, it might not. But there's another client that usually runs as well, which is news something, whatever it is. Nunet demo, where's the news one? News score, is that news score? Yeah. So here you've got some of the other nodes have it as well. So like BoxMineNU has it, and this Oli ThinkPad has it, and all these other servers. So what we have here, basically, what we're looking at right now is all the programs that are running across the whole network. So this is other people's servers that have set up for the private alpha. So you go clients and you can see all the servers specifically. So that's all these ones. And you can see a couple of them are down, a couple of them are ready, and everything's running and everyone's having a good time. Storage doesn't matter. Servers is just the one for the Nomad server. Topology is specifically for our, oh no, it's not for our client. Look, this is all of them. So this pulls up all of them. And if I go on Nunet demo, you can see the adapter, Nunet adapter is running here, and it's got the allocated memory and CPU space. And this total here is how much I have available. So I've got allocated 3,936, and I've got a total of 16, it must be, I guess. I don't know. 8. Oh, it's 8 gigs. Anyway, so then we go, this one, for example, has loads of space. You know, this one has a normal amount of space, like the same. They have the other client running, that news score open, so that's running on theirs. And then you've got these other ones like empty clients because nothing's currently running on them. And you can see here over the left, we've got 21 clients. So there's only 21 servers that are up and running with 28 allocations. So that's 28 programs that are actually running simultaneously. So all these empty clients aren't running anything at the minute, and some people are running multiple things. You can see here 2 things there. You can see here 1, 2, 3, 4 things there. Wow. And this is the total memory available across the network, and we're currently using 10% of it, of the total combined power of all these servers. And then the amount of CPU processing, we've got 429 gigahertz of CPU total, and we're using 13%, which is 56 gigahertz. Okay, so this just shows like the total health of the network, if you like. And no live updating. Okay, you can refresh it to update it, and it'll just load up again. Jobs. So you got your jobs you can keep track of here. Oh look, it's got news score now. See this one at the top? Our news score is running as well as the Nunet adapter. So now I can click in here. That's running too. So now we've got 2 different instances. You can stop it individually by there. And if you go to clients now, if we go back to our server, oh no, if we go to, what was it, topology. If we go to topology and we find Nunet demo, we've got two programs running on there. You see those 2 together? Bam, bam, bam. Okay, whereas before it was just this one. All right, and that's it, guys. That's literally it. You've got it up and running. Here you can guarantee that your thing's running properly, and this is where you can monitor it. If there's any issues, then like if something isn't running, you can just SSH back in. You can check in here if something's going on, but realistically you shouldn't need to, because it's more about just allocating space. So I can close that. If there's something going on here within these 2, you can actually see what's happening individually. So that this one's running here, it's not doing anything at the minute. It's using 4% of the total allocated space, and this one's using 5%. So at the minute it's quite a quiet network because not a lot of stuff's going on, but you have access to see everything that's going on here. You can automatically run jobs, so if something's going on wrong with your server, you can go to your client here like Nunet demo, and I wonder what this does. You don't really want to drain things, guys, so don't do that. But you can see across your CPU and your RAM, your memory, what's happening. So this has only been alive for a tiny amount of time, so it's only got a little bit of information here, but you'll have like a full-scale graph over time of the performance of the CPU, the utilization of the CPU. All right, and guys, that's it. That's really it. Like I can keep rambling about all these different things. We didn't set up Java. We didn't set up QEMU or KVM, isn't it? I think. But this is all the information about our server and all the different API calls and processes running, attributes there. Yeah, cool. That's it. That's literally it, guys. If you've followed along with all these things, you've learned quite a lot in this hour or a half hour or whatever it is. You've learned how to set up a cloud server. You've learned how to protect it from the outside world, from hackers. You've learned how to secure it properly and how to add a new user and set administrative privileges to that user, which is like beyond the scope of what we've actually done. That's really, really good that you've managed to do that, because now you can take part in a lot of other things as well. You're now good. You can now do cloud computing. You can now run Linux. You've also installed Docker, and you've installed the Nunet. You set that up correctly, which a lot of people have been struggling with. All right, that's literally it for this video, guys. Thanks for watching. Hopefully I haven't rambled too much for you. And if you don't know what this is my stake pool, Cardano Stoic Pool. So if you have any Cardano laying around, then delegate to Stoic Pool, because we've almost hit 100 blocks and we're minting loads of tasty rewards. Shameless plug there. All right, guys. I hope you've enjoyed it. Leave any questions or comments you got in the box below. I'll try and help you in Telegram as much as I can, but you know, I teach people handstands, so I'm quite busy a lot of the times. All right, I gotta go because it's 20 to 11 right now. I'm gonna edit this up and get it out to you in the morning. Subscribe, give us a like, blah blah blah. Have a great night. Best of luck setting this up, and I'll catch you in the next one. See you then.